Were you guys ready to start rolling?
We're rolling.
Who's rolling?
Wait, I'm rolling.
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 We're rolling.
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 Rolling on Dr. Luskay.
Yep. Oh, we're ready?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
They're already rolling.
So I guess basically, why don't we start out by just kind of giving a brief overview of what's happened so far, and if it's what you were expecting.
On this trip?
Yeah.
Well, you want to start?
Sure. Each one of the 3 documentary classes that I've been involved with, we do a lot of preparation, but it always has this descent into the unknown quality, where you never know until you're on the ground exactly what you're going to see, and that's been kind of fun. I mean, it's the unnerving part, but it's also makes it fun in a certain way.
I don't know that people really understand how hard it is to do a documentary and then do a documentary in 14 weeks and to do a documentary with students.
In some ways, it's like being on a sailboat in a hurricane.
While under attack.
You're building the plane as it's heading down the runway.
In a washing machine on high.
It's like British Bake Off. Where you're like, yeah, you start from the beginning, you have your plan with your recipe, and you're like, I'm going and it's all good and everything, and then all of a sudden, like, you didn't turn your oven on.
It's like making an exquisite 5-course meal. Because it's madness in the moment, but when the meal comes together and everyone's enjoying it, you see all your hard work has finally paid off.
There's just so much unbridled chaos.
Chaotic.
Chaos.
Chaos.
Controlled chaos.
To create perfection.
The PACE documentary class is about getting a group of people together who are interested in putting an entire documentary together and then throwing them into the fire and having them do it.
Documentary storytelling, in my opinion, gets behind the scenes. It gets to why something exists or why something happened. I think once you get underneath the surface, you really find information, and that gives you the truth to the story.
Documentaries study reality. To me, a good documentary filmmaker or photographer should almost be invisible. They're observing and capturing events in real time, and they're not intervening. And that's what we strive to teach our students in this class.
When I sat down to talk about the curriculum of the program, one of the things that I wanted to include was documentary, because I like it when something is real. I like the process of talking to people, seeing what their lives are about, and putting that information on camera.
The class started out small. Students were covering local stories here in New York, but over time, it grew into this really in-demand study abroad course. And that's because of what we offered our students, experiential learning.
Experiential learning is the opportunity to put your hands on and do what you're learning about in the classroom. Students can read about how you make a documentary, but I think having the actual experience is what sets you apart.
In other words, I never taught out of a textbook. I knew in my background as a writer, producer, director, what it took to put a show together. There was no difference in doing this as a class as opposed to doing this as a producer. It was the one and the same. I never treated it any differently.
I don't talk about it as being a student film. These are professional films.
It is the ultimate production class and crash course into what it really is to be a producer.
It is culture, it is history, it is filmmaking, it is storytelling. I mean, you're getting so many different classes all rolled up into one.
PaceDocs is a worldwide class. 23 documentaries, 14 countries, 30+ awards in the last 24 years.
This course is not like your traditional study abroad course where like you go away for a whole semester. We're only going away for the week of spring break.
Some people were just going to the beach, right? I was gonna go and work long days, carrying equipment, doing interviews.
So, here we are. Again. Exhausted.
And exhilarated.
And yes, exhausted. Right, but we keep going. It's a little cold.
Dr. Maria Luskay has worked with a number of different professors over the years. Some of them more focused in journalism, like Professor Andy Revkin or Professor Amy Rodriguez. When I joined the class, I brought a focus and a love for the technical side of production.
The doc class differs because we're looking at every aspect of filmmaking, whereas in other classes we're looking at specific disciplines, and so you're getting a really encompassing vision of what the entire process is like, from pre-production to production to post-production, and also to delivery.
Everybody loves a slice of homemade bread, but people don't think about all the work that goes into it. Mixing the ingredients, kneading the dough, letting it rise, scoring it, putting it in the oven. Oftentimes it's like a day's worth of work that leads up to that bread that you enjoy in the moment. That's a lot like making a film. People enjoy the final product, but there's a whole range of things that happens before it hits your screen. Before it was edited, before it was filmed, before it was written or researched or anything like that, it was an idea. The semester is a 14-week sprint, but the year leading up to it is a marathon.
Because you need over a year to plan this. I had to decide on where we were going, how that was going to happen, how we were going to get there.
There's the logistical preparations, flights, the hotel.
That's the marathon. The sprint is the semester.
Because in January we had to hit the ground running. Because we only had 14 weeks to produce a documentary. That's insane.
I started to lay out some of the ideas that had been on my to-do list as a reporter. But there's a lot of that preparatory work that had to be done. Most of the scripting really happens after the shooting because unlike writing a movie, a fictional movie, the movie is dependent on what you see.
The doc class tells you what it's about, and then you have to execute with what you find out. The first part of the doc class is us just researching. We spent a lot of time learning about the history of all these places and trying to make as many connections as we could.
And she was like, okay, who did you get? And we proudly raised our hands and we said, Dr. Luskay, we have the mayor of Hawaii. And the mayor of Hawaii?
This is only half my class. I'm Maria Luskay.
The start of the trip really begins with just getting there with all of the equipment.
Everybody was given an assignment. You're taking batteries, you're taking cameras.
Random tripods that look like blunt objects that TSA will pull you aside for.
So Maria sometimes made us like, hey, do you have extra space in your bag? You're packing it.
The camera's changed in a big way over the years. If we go all the way back to 2006, looking at the earliest documentaries, they were shooting on tape. So you didn't get to see that footage on a big screen until you got home. If you lost that tape on the way home for whatever reason, you lost the documentary.
The one thing that changed as well was the size of everything.
Cameras got smaller and smaller, and nowadays people were able to stick them right into a backpack.
Every year was something new. Every year, something got better. We got more sophisticated. Technology made it easier for us and allowed us to do something else.
The quality of our current films really speaks to that, and the technology helps us to experiment and to be more creative, which is really important to me. The Pace documentary crew is a lot like a beehive. So bees in their hive in the morning, they leave the hive, they go out, they deal with flowers, they pollinate, they do their bee thing, and then they come home to the hive. The Pace documentary crew is very similar to that.
You wake up, you're sharing a room with your classmate. Every day you wake up, you might be in a different place.
You're getting up at 7 in the morning and eating the quickest breakfast that you've ever had in your life.
And we're on this big bus going through town and we're going from one location to the other.
And then we all split off into teams. So some of us are filming interviews.
Some people are running around this new location, just trying to find something interesting to shoot, making sure you didn't forget anything, even though you probably did. Also just making sure you're wearing the right shoes. You're probably not.
We interviewed tens and tens of people. I think Puerto Rico, we interviewed over 50 people, if not more.
And then you pack it up and you go to the next one.
This course, you're working the whole time. There is no leisure to it. It's an actual job.
Everything's happening so quickly. It's not this perfect, everything is exactly how it should be, because some things it is a run and gun.
We're We're not flying back to Belize or the Bahamas or Costa Rica to refilm something.
It was every single day, and then afterwards of our full footage schedule, we would do these video recaps that we would post on YouTube.
What's up, guys? I'm Gabe.
I'm Max.
And I'm Matt. And we are part of the PaceDocs crew.
And then you got to factor in doing the blog.
When Professor Andrew Revkin joined our class, he was a writer from the New York Times who happened to have a blog. Professor Revkin brought that to us.
So that when the documentary comes out, it's not just like, oh, look what we just did.
So we have the best vlog day because we get an unexpected night in Miami.
Luskay's really mad that I'm vlogging right now.
So I always joke around and say,
social media
doesn't work if you're not social.
Social media cannot be social without social media.
Something like that.
we were social 15 years ago because we wanted to make sure that our voice was heard.
And then people are engaged in spreading the word about the film.
Hi. Hi guys, we're vlogging media and I hate my life.
So at the end of the day, these students and frankly the professors are tired and nothing sounds better than going to bed. But at that point, we have to media manage.
So, you know, you shoot on a card for a whole day and the card fills up.
You're spending your nights logging that footage. You're looking through it. You're kind of mapping out what you have and what material you're coming back with ahead of time so that you can kind of hit the ground running and you're not scrambling to sift through hours and hours of footage to figure out what you're going to be choosing.
Sorting things by day, what kind of camera was used, staring at a loading bar, copying them to the hard drive, checking it 1,000 times, then erasing the card and putting them back.
And essentially go to bed many, many, many hours later.
Keeping track of what you saw while you were in the field was really part of making the editing process smooth, or at least less jagged.
But it gets real. Setting up a camera, setting up lighting, and something goes wrong.
And you kind of just have to have the skill set as a film crew to just adapt.
Was it cool?
It was awesome.
Was it?
Something went wrong with everything.
Yeah, I heard.
We were going out to the middle of the Magdalena Bay and checking these nets to see if any turtles were caught. Every 2 hours, we were getting on the boats, we were going out there and checking. And it was extremely draining on the crew. But it was so worth it when we finally found that turtle.
You're ruining the shot!
And after each shoot, we would go back to the beach and we would log all the footage and back it up on my laptop, which was connected to a car battery.
And I was driving with Maria, kind of navigating where we were gonna go, and I might have misled us a wee bit.
We pulled off into a sand pit, so we all had to attempt to push it out.
And after that, I don't think I ever sat in the front seat with Maria navigating again.
I was walking with some of the students and there were these puppies tangled in the nylon fishing net. So I went over and I untangled a couple of these puppies and I picked them up, and then it's like, okay, now what do I do?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Oh, what a life. I love my life.
My husband has been begging me to go camping for 35 years that we're married.
At least one of this faculty here has never been camping, and that's, it does come with some adjustments.
I liked it that way. I'm not a camper. Do I look like a camper?
Sawdust in the toilets and sand in the beds.
Yeah, interesting.
Coyotes circling the camp.
And this coyote would come and scratch me. He would scratch on my tent, and then he proceeded to steal my sandals. I don't know where they are to this day.
So we were in Cuba.
And Obama was in his motorcade, and we had to get him.
In Luskay fashion, was always just telling us to put up your cameras and start shooting, start rolling, just started screaming.
To shoot Obama. That's what I was screaming, by the way. Shoot the president. Could you imagine how that sounded in Cuba?
You know, we hiked 2 miles through a desert to get to a beach to talk to a lighthouse keeper, and we forgot the tripod key.
If the key was forgotten or left behind, you could not mount the camera to that tripod.
I keep an extra tripod key in my camera bag because a tripod is useless without a key.
So duct tape.
We were asking, what is this?
Nobody could get what the translation of this word was. And unfortunately, once we figured out the translation, we had already eaten this pate. And we found out it was and then we proceeded to then go to their area, their pen, where they were.
Dr. Luskay, are they as cute as they taste?
When we arrived to Spain, it was such a small town with such a specific accent. Even me, being native in Spanish, I had to learn and make like a small dictionary in my head while shooting, being like, okay, when they say this, they mean this. And it forced me to learn the story like top to bottom.
I know the story, you know the story? Dr. Luskay used to say it all the time, like, you have to go where the story is going.
It takes one great quote to change an entire direction of a story.
One of those documentary stories was in Belize, and it was interviewing a woman, Linda Thornton, who was a shrimp farmer.
The conversation was going to be about sustainable shrimp farming. What is it? How does it work? Tell us about it.
On that trip was where the light bulb went off. There's always something more under the surface. I got to see somebody as a human who, yes, she was a shrimp farmer, but her backstory was so incredibly interesting to me that the story that we thought we were going to film when we got there went in an entirely different direction.
And as Maria started to focus on these human interest stories, everything became more and more personal. When we went into Harmony of the Azores, talking to Raphael, we had these really intimate moments, learning about his love of music, watching people learn the instrument. Everything on that project became smaller, closer to people. And in that way, I think we told a bigger story than ever before because we were so close, because we were so intimate.
The bonding and the fun is going out with the crew and filming. The real hard work is in that lab after you have all the footage.
So editing really is your time now to tell the story, refine the story, and really lay it out so it's perfect.
Before we do that, we typically make what's known as a paper edit. So oftentimes Maria would like to print everything, lay it on the table, and we would get scissors, we would cut everything up, we would glue it in place, and it would become a timeline, it would become a script, and we would edit off that.
We were sort of sectioning out where we could find through lines, where we could find sound bites and storylines that we could follow, that we could sort of build upon.
Sometimes it's like finding hay in a needle stack. You go through this transcript, and there might be 30 pages of which you pull a paragraph.
You are just trying to figure this puzzle out and put it together
without actually having the benefit of what the picture is supposed to look like on the box as you're building it.
The next couple weeks are just a blur. It's a whirlwind.
You know, editing is the biggest time vortex of all of production.
Especially for a lot of the lead editors, they're basically living out of that editing room.
Editing requires intense discipline. There's a sort of mental focus that it requires to get things done because there's no time. The deadline is constantly looming.
But you want to put together the best material possible and the best story possible.
The whole process is crazy because you're looking at so many things that you couldn't humanly do it by yourself.
When we were editing, the month of April and May were shot. They were gone. No one saw me because I was sleeping in that lab. I was with them every night, all night, editing.
There were nights that I slept in the edit room because you're fearful of that deadline. You're fearful of making that premiere.
You're just never going to bed. It's just a lot of hard work and tears and happiness.
And a lot of trial and error, a lot of screams, and at times you will do laps around Wilcox to sort of break up the madness.
Sleeping in the editing lab, all those nights when we returned, those were some of the funnest times.
No one wanted to go home. As crazy as it was, and you're kind of complaining, we all loved it.
It's a challenge, and it's a challenge that most of us really needed, and honestly, it was the best decision I took during college.
The post-production process is not glamorous, but it's rewarding.
After countless hours in that editing room, the puzzle is finally complete. And you can see the full picture, and it's beautiful.
The official release was right now. So at 5:30, everything goes live. One of my goals in doing this documentary was to get us out of the gym, because I thought that these films needed to be premiered. So I worked very hard on making that happen. And it did. So without further ado, let's sit back and enjoy a place I call home. Thank you.
Nowadays, we premiere in movie theaters, and there's nothing more rewarding for a filmmaker than seeing their work on the big screen.
For a student who never did that before, and that was their first time sitting in the theater, and then they see the work that they did up on screen, and then they watch their name in the credits, that was huge.
When that day comes where you're sitting in Jacob Burns Film Center watching your premiere on the big screen, it doesn't feel real.
And more recently, our documentaries have premiered internationally.
I was the only one that went to the premiere in Spain with Maria, and that felt really important as well. It was just really nice to see their own subjects be sitting there, and I would look around and they were so happy watching that documentary. They were proud, they brought their families.
We thank you very much for your support. Thank you for coming to see us. We appreciate it.
I was satisfied. I was like, finally we're done. I was low-key emotional. I didn't cry, but I just was like smiling ear to ear.
It's work that you will go back and look at and think like, this is a turning point. This is something important that I did. This is something that is meaningful.
As a kid from the Bronx, New York, before this, I never really traveled many places, but joining a class where, a bunch of people from different walks of life, all of us are coming together on the same goal of producing an amazing documentary, and us getting on a plane and traveling 14 hours away. And so when I finally saw that end result and us producing that 14-minute award-winning documentary, I instantly fell in love with the process. That decision to do that really changed my life.
One of the things that happened from this class is the students learned what it would be like to work in the real world. So much so that when they graduated, they got jobs in the real world. They have been extremely successful. They are award-winning, Emmy, by the way, Emmy award-winning producers, writers, editors.
I go to NBC, I sit down in this Zoom interview, and the first thing they ask me is, so tell us about this doc.
Even in my career now, I still work on documentaries. I produce documentaries for Hulu and Peacock.
I make a lot of sports documentaries and sports series.
Now I'm a news anchor in New York City.
So this relationship just keeps going. It just doesn't end.
I had made some lifelong friends, started dating someone from the doc. I was like on top of the world at that point.
We were all bonded together so closely. We became family together.
By the end of the production, basically, they'd be like, "Mom," to me. And it got to the point where I got a text on Mother's Day from Dev saying, "Happy Mother's Day."
It's like a sorority or fraternity. You have your sisters, you have your brothers, you have your community. It's never going to change. And they're going to continue being friends forever.
I love them all. I used to come here for the editing sessions and stay more because I wanted to hang out with the people in the doc. The last night in Spain, I started crying because I was like, how did I not meet them before graduating?
I'm very, very fortunate enough that somebody that I took the documentary class with is now my husband today. And I consider Dr. Luskay, Maria, my very close friend till this day. When we called her to tell her that we were engaged, and she was obviously very excited and happy for us.
Matt's words to me were, we have to come up with an officiant, and we could not think of anyone better that we would want to marry us than you. Well, I dropped the phone and I lost it. The story involves two very bright students who accompanied me on a documentary trip to the Netherlands.
We see them work hard, they researched, filmed, and we witness them fall in love.
And that was one of the highlights of my life.
All because of a documentary.
So what was it like to work with Dr. Maria Luskay?
Professor Luskay was highly energetic.
She's a ball of fire. More than anything, I mean, she's just so
Results-oriented, practical.
knowledgeable.
Kind of like a bulldog in terms of working with students and making sure everyone in the project was maximizing their potential.
It's no coincidence that you have Emmy award-winning writers, producers, directors, editors that come from this class. The common denominator in it all is Dr. Luskay.
And it's because she just held everyone to a standard that you had to meet. And you wanted to meet that standard. You didn't want to disappoint her.
She genuinely believes in her students' potential. And when she sees potential in her students, she's gonna push you.
To do their best work because she sees it in them.
She really inspired me to love it, to bring the intensity that I bring to productions.
I admire her and will always admire her.
I think what was really great about our working relationship is that we both kind of challenged each other. We both kind of pushed each other a lot.
I would say to me, she's more than a professor. I feel like she's mom.
I think she showed me that you don't need to ask permission to have a seat at the table. Sorry.
I would not be where I am today without Dr. Luskay. There's no question about that.
I know it doesn't end with her and things will still continue to grow, and she got this incredible program running, but there is some magic about Luskay that is sad to see go, for sure.
When I retired, the outpouring of emotion that I felt, that I got from these students was unbelievable. I created a legacy. I mean, I'm moving on to things in my life, my Act 2, that I really want to do. It's time for Professor Guarneri to continue with the way he wants his legacy to be. And he's the only person that can do it. I knew that it was going to be him. And I knew that he and I stood side by side in doing this project and had a relationship that will never fade. We are not just colleagues, we are like best friends.
Working with Lou is one of the highlights of not just my career or my education, it's one of the highlights of my life. He wants you to be the best that you can be, more than I've ever met, like, in another person.
You know, and to see how far, Lou has come from just doing his photography to now, being one of the leads in the program, I'm more than proud of him.
Sweet Lou was the secret weapon on the documentary because he knows so much about equipment and camera.
Without him, some of the problems that we encountered just would not get solved.
And he knew how to get the passion out of his students, and I think that was something, every teacher should do.
Lou is the backbone of MCVA. Lou's the backbone of PaceDocs.
Dr. Luskay is the driving force, but without Lou, the documentary wouldn't happen either.
You make predictions of people in your class. You look at them and you think, where is this person going to wind up? I knew that Professor Guarneri would be successful. I did not know that he was going to be a teacher. I did not know that he was going to be my co-teacher in this class. I did not know that I was going to select him to be with me. It's serendipity. Everything in life, ladies and gentlemen, happens for a reason.
So do you guys have any closing notes for us? Your expectations of what's going to happen for the rest of the trip? Anything like that?
The documentary class was my baby. It was my special sauce. It was the class that made me love. I loved it. It was the thing that made me drive 3 hours to Pace. It was the thing that it was my passion. I missed 20 plus years of spring break. I missed my son's birthday. I missed Easter with my family for 20 plus years because the documentary class meant that much to me. This class, I really think, brought groups of people together every year. So you continue to have those relationships and those friendships after this class is over, and they continue to have those relationships with me. That to me is the benefit of all of this. All of this to me is seeing how successful they are and knowing that they still want me to be a part of their lives.
Producing the documentary with Dr. Maria Luskay as a student had a profound impact on my life. I couldn't have predicted how many ways that it would change my future. From my love of production and going all in on our production to the people in my life. Some of the people I took that class with are like family to me now. You know, I got brothers that I never had have taken a class in college at Pace University. I live with Rebecca, and it all goes back to this class. Producing the documentary has this beautiful, magical way of connecting people, and that's what we're gonna keep doing.
I'll build you a palace with my words, but I can't tell you what any of that's worth, 'cause it's from the heart, so it's either priceless or worthless. It's from my heart, they got no scales for purpose. But it's a photograph of someone that you love, who you know is watching you from up above. Childhood toy we shared all of your rainy days, when all you wanted was your dad all years I'll build you a palace with my words, but I can't tell you what any of that's worth. 'Cause it's from the heart, so it's either priceless or worthless. Yeah, it's from my heart, they ain't got scales for purpose, no. It's the lyric from a song you once forgot, that made you realize you're stronger than you thought. It's the bread that got your mother through the day. It's when your newborn's eyes saw light and looked your way. And you can cash it in, you'll never say leave. It ain't no fancy car, 5-star hotel trip, but it'll feed your soul the days and days ahead. And it's the only wealth on which you can depend. The time it only gets much better, and you can dwell in it forever. In this palace of my words, in this palace of my words, in this palace of my words, in this palace of my words.
That's a wrap.
Next to my sauce. Ready?
Yep. Yeah.
Hands in.
Safe travels, y'all, and good trips, and good energies, and good vibes. Let's get it.
Let's go,
Peace
Peace Docs.